your seat, light it up, let's unwind. Kevin and Kerr bringing topics of all kinds, from cigars to sports, family and more. Everyday stories you'll want to explore. So take a puff or ponder away. Join the talk, it's the highlight of your day. Puff and ponder where the sparks ignite, conversations blazing day or night. Tune in now, let the stories take flight. It's the Puff and Ponder podcast, where we get it right. From fast cars to last night's game, family laughs or today's big name. We've got the topics, we've got the vibe. Stay tuned in and enjoy the ride. So lean back, relax, take a break. Kevin and Kerr got the chat you'll appreciate. Puff and Ponder, the show that's great, where conversations ignite. Don't hesitate. So lean back, relax, take a break. Kevin and Kerr got the chat you'll appreciate. Puff and Ponder, the show that's great, where conversations ignite. Don't hesitate. Oh, hesitate.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Puff and Ponder podcast, where conversations ignite. We got a bunch of people in here. What's going on? Henry, Joseph's smoking an Oliva Serie V Milano. What's going on? Colby,
go on, everybody.
Burn, Chris, getting on airplane. I'll catch up on the flip side. Have a great one, gents. All right, safe travels. Keep a lot of space between you and the ground. So, Kerr, what are you smoking tonight? We got some Joseph there smoking an Oliva Serie V. That's a great cigar.
I know. I went back. I'm smoking the Rocky Patel Vintage 2006 San Andreas wrapper. This is a really good cigar.
And I'm smoking the Don Pepin Original Blue. This is from this month's Corona Cigar of the Month Club. Very nice. Great cigar, Don Pepin. I've been trying to get in more into Don Pepin stuff because I've been getting more and more Tatuaje kick lately. Mm-hmm. So the I keep going back to that blue. You know, it's like the original blue, and I feel like a rube, and it's like everybody else smoking this big fancy stuff that he's doing. And I always, I like the blue. I like the original.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I love the Lancero. Yeah, I like the white, the JJ, I think it's called.
Yeah.
That was one of his first original blends when they first released, and then they were kind of went away and then came back. Great lineup of cigars.
Yeah. So, Kerr, you ever have anything like well, you do. I know.
Yes.
because you refuse to use your Dunbarton lighter or your cutter because it's so nice and it's expensive, so you refuse to use it. So now it's just sitting there. I come in before.
You mean this thing here, still in box with a little case there? Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
And mine, I'm trying to get mine beat up. I got two of them here. So on the way through the house that's come out here for the show, I see Gabby is eating dinner, and she's on like an Asian food kick. So she's been preparing these elaborate meals, preparing herself, which is great. It's, with autism, it does take, she's a little hyper focused, so it can take 90 minutes to prepare a bowl of ramen. So it's in like not like the brick ramen, like you got cook the noodles and you got to cut everything up and put everything on there.
Yeah, I think 90 minutes is good. I don't think that's a sign of autism. I think that's a sign of just taking your time and making it a good
meal. That's definitely the autism in her. So, so I know she's been on that kick for a while, and so I bought her two pairs of really nice chopsticks. Like they're engraved, like where the like where you pick up the food at the base, they're serrated. so you can grip the food better. And they got like this little comfort handle, super nice, definitely not cheap. They're too nice for her to use, so she uses the cheap job. And I'm like, I can send those back, you know. I don't, you know, like what, just that's the reason I got them for you to use them, to, you know. But yeah,
it'd be like, was that like it for us, like displaying an ashtray and not using it?
Oh yeah, exactly. And not just, I mean, I don't use some of my ashtrays because I have like 30 ashtrays everywhere. So, but yeah, if it's if it's an ashtray, it's being dumped in, and I have like one cigar in every ashtray. I had to go up earlier, and I was cleaning out my office, and I'm like emptying out the trash a couple of times, and so I'm like, let me go empty out all these ashtrays. I'm like, why the hell do I keep walking around flicking them in various ashtrays? So,
I always find my cigars like hanging over a ledge on like a piece of furniture in the lounge.
So
like
we
on
have
the side, on the end table, on the freaking the desk, on this and all that.
At any given time, there's like a little wooden like stand, whatever it is, that right before the door that goes into the house. So at any given time, there can be 3 or 4 cigars, you know, on that little ledge hanging out in there. And like I said, we'll go in the house, then come back out, and then forget that we had a cigar out there. So,
I do it all the time, man. I always forget. I'm like, what the hell am I? Did I smoke that already? And then I'll light up one. I'll light a cigar. And like an hour later, I'll walk by and I'll be like, oh shit, that's right. I went got the hammer and I put it on the workbench, and there it is.
That's it. You know, yesterday at work, I thought it'd be a nice, easy. I rarely work on Sundays, except coming up. You know, for the next few months, starting in November, I got to work Sundays. Fucking corporate. They need volunteers. They need technicians to work Sundays, which Sundays is a dead day. You know, then of course they know that like my immediate supervisors, like they're not going to ask me. Like that goes like way up the chain. Like the vice president of the company will send me a text. Hey man, we really need you. And I'm like, son of a bitch. He knows I won't say no. He knows I won't say no to him. Like my store manager, I'm like, get the fuck out of here. I'm not working Sundays. So, but when they go up the chain, so I'm like, whatever. But, so I started an FSG, Florida Sun Grown, on my way to work yesterday morning, which was irritating. We opened up till 9. I set my alarm clock as if we opened up at 7. So I showed up to work 6:30, you know, didn't. Yeah. Oh yeah. That was great. Oh yeah. So, but yeah, so on my way home at 4:15, I finished that cigar. I tried smoking it during the day, and I was just so busy. It was always on various ledges of my toolbox. And I'm like, I was not putting that cigar, and it lit up, and I was surprised because it rained a couple of times. I'm like, there's no way this thing is gonna light up and then combust.
My God, that's hilarious. I mean, that's the worst. You got there that early.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, so I started work early. There was a Corvette waiting for me, and needed some tires. The guy only wants the best, and I'm like, God, you know, I hate doing tires, you know, but it's like whatever. So we go to so I mount the tires on it, and then I can't start it up. It will not start. So I'm like, oh whatever. I'll wait for the kid to come in that pulled it in the night prior, and I go, hey man, Clayton, how'd you start this thing up and get it in here? He goes, I don't know, I just started it up and pulled right in. And he goes, it was weird when I put it in park, it kept rolling. I'm like, that's kind of weird because when I was torquing down the wheels, like the car was moving as I was torquing them down, and I'm like, I didn't think anything of it. So then the service manager comes in and he looks at the car and he goes, that guy was a dick last night. I'm like, all fucking Corvette people are dicks. He went over the entire car and be like, and taking pictures. I don't have any scratches. I don't, you know, and then so the salesman that was with him, she's like, well, here's a little scratch here. And he's like, well, that's the only one. So just being an absolute tool. And Corvette guys piss me off and they seek me out for some reason. You know, that they're always so concerned about their car, but yet they never want to take it to the dealership to you know, because the dealership, our local one, has Corvette technicians. They don't let anybody work on Corvettes. They have Corvette technicians, but no, you want to bring it into a Tires Plus. not saying that we don't know what we're doing, but you want to bring it into a Jiffy Lube. You want to bring it in here and here because you don't want to spend money. So the shift cable, it popped. So the cable, it has a little bushing that pops onto like your shifter, and that's what puts it in gear. That disintegrated. So we're like, of course, this guy's going to blame it on us because there's no fucking such thing as a coincidence at all. So we got this. I got a universal bushing. I got it. After about a half an hour, I finally got to pop into place, put my hand under there, and I was able to just reset everything. And I'm like, this thing just needs to make it home. That's it. If he drives it out of here, our hands are clean because we didn't do anything to it. It's just a coincidence. It's just a coincidence. It's like when a battery dies when you pull it in. Customer's like, "Well, I drove it in here." Oh, I'm sorry, your battery was on the verge, and this is what it was.
Your last 5%.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, it could have died at the CVS. It could have died, and then you'd have to call a tow truck. You're lucky it died here. So, knock on wood. This guy picks it up. We're all out there with bated breath. Puts it in gear, drives away. We're like, we're good.
That's funny.
So, yeah, that's how my day started, working on a Corvette.
So that's Monday. So Thursday, you'll get a call.
Doesn't make any difference. No, we get a call though. It'll be no, we're not working on it. That shift cable is a burner to replace. I would never even attempt to do one. So it's just not worth it.
I don't know, sir. I'm going to take a wild guess. It sounds like that may be a shift cable by what you're explaining to me. I think you take that to the dealership.
Yeah. They're the only ones that can do that. So yeah, that's how my Sunday went. And then today I didn't have anything to do today, Kerr. Nothing. I got up this morning, had some breakfast, nothing to do. I was just gonna play on my phone all day, and then I had a box to get together for you and Jen for your raffle, and I couldn't find your giveaway. Yeah, we don't do raffles. Your giveaway. So I couldn't find a couple of shirts that I wanted to send. Really nice. You're gonna really like these shirts. And I couldn't find them. And I know they're buried in my office somewhere in a box so they wouldn't get cigar smoke. And then so finally pulling out some stuff, and then I found them. And then I'm like, this office is driving me insane. So then I spent the next 5 hours pulling everything out of my office, reorganizing everything, moving shelves. And then, so yeah.
You had nothing to do. So, just as it's lucky for the car battery to die when they get to your location, you luckily had nothing to do and had work in your office to do.
Yeah. So now the office is super nice, super clean, super organized. We'll see if I can keep it that way for a few months.
How long will that last? Do you let Jessica in there?
She does not like going in my office at all. So she has no business in there.
Okay.
Oh yeah. You know what she does like going in getting? My packing tape, because the reason your box didn't go out today is because I ran out of packing tape. So yeah, I had to order more on Amazon because someone. Exactly. What's going on, Derek? So your box didn't go out today, and I would have used my paper tape because I have paper tape dispensers, what I mainly use, but it was a box that had already had like the plastic tape on it, so you can't use paper tape over that. So I had to go on there, and because I didn't have a backup roll, because I always buy like a 6-pack, and same thing at work. Someone will use the last of something and then not say anything, and then someone else go to use it. Brake clean, engine degreaser, whatever. And it's like, why did nobody say anything? Same with my packing tape. Why did nobody say anything?
Damn it, Jessica.
Yeah, that drives me so insane. Just order the last, because I said when I use the last of something, if it's an empty can, if I'm the person that uses it, or if I open up a box of something and I notice there's no more, I'll take that box and then put it on the boss's desk. If I don't have time, I can usually do all the inventory ordering myself. But if I'm busy, I just throw it on his desk and he knows, oh, hey, we need more of that. So
it's like the boys taking the bags of chips and then putting the bag back with 2 in it.
Oh, but it wasn't empty. There was chips in there. Yeah.
Why did I say we need more? Because we don't need more. There's chips in there. A chip. Operative chip. Singular chip.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's yeah. That drives me nuts, man.
So we went to our storage unit. We were bringing in all of our boxes. So there's a couple of boxes in there that I kind of threw together because we were, I was cleaning stuff and start unpacking this box to repack it into a singular box. I'm like, holy shit, I've been looking for this stuff. Dude, you do that like you're probably like, what, how the hell did that get there? And I'm like, oh well, fuck, I packed it because I'm an idiot. But I found my Mac ashtray that was my grandfather's, my great uncle's at their dealership. I found my
yeah.
So yeah, Jennifer and I came back and did that because I thought on Saturday I was gonna have plenty of time to do stuff around the house because some guy came by on Friday and said, "Hey, you need me to paint, you need your porch painted?" And I'm like, well, shit, I got paint here, right? So here's, I'm going to complain, but there is some of this is my fault, and I will more than likely hear it from the crowd. But I'm like, yeah, I got some paint, something. I go, well, how much? He goes, $150 for everything. And I'm like, all right, we got some pretty intricate spindles. We got some stuff. I'm like, ceiling. He's like, 200. I'll bring the paint. I'm like, again, I think of Kevin in the back of my head going, hey, Kerr, how much is your time worth? What can you get done during this period of time? I'm like, sold. All right, I'll be there between 8 and 8:30. Okay, sounds good. I get a message. Hey, do you have a roller? Look,
like, no, you're fired.
This is not starting off on the right foot. I'm like, actually, I got like fucking 10. I'm like, yeah, don't worry about it, bro. Come on over. That's fine. All right, I'll be over in a little bit. I'm running a little bit behind. Like, okay. So he shows up at 9 o'clock. Hey, man, you got paint? I'm like, son of a bitch. I'm like, yeah, I got some paint. No harm, no foul. Here you go. Go get him, Tiger. And a couple hours went by. He's like, hey, man, all done. I'm going to go. I got to go do this other job. I'm going to let this dry. I said, oh, you're going to come back do a second coat? No, man. No, man. This is good. I'll come back if there's some touch-up spots. I'll do some touch-up spots. I'm like, well, what about here? He said, well, paint's going to do what paint's going to do. And I'm like, that does not make any sense. Paint doesn't do what paint do. Paint, when applied properly, dries and looks pretty fucking good when done properly. Paint doesn't do what paint's going to do. So I'm like, all right. So he leaves, and I'm like, I came in the garage, grabbed a cigar, and I'm like, paint's going to do what paint's going to do. Paint's going to do what paint's going to do. I walked out front, and I'm looking at this. I'm like, paint ain't going to do shit here because he missed this whole post. He missed this. Like, I texted him, I'm like, yo, I said, dude, you got to come back, man. You missed spots. Oh, yeah, I'll come back and hit it up. I always mark it back up. I'm like, no, you don't understand something. You didn't there's not like a couple of spots that need to go over again. Like, there's a fucking area that's not done. And I was like, you know what? I will drive myself crazy if I have this guy come back. He's already proven that he's done a shitty job the first time. I've already paid him. I got out the ladder. I started painting it myself. I just said, don't worry about it, dude. I got it. So I painted everything, got everything all done. He shows up, and I actually left one part on purpose, not painted. The part, and he's like, man, I would have, come on, give me the brush. I'm like, listen, dude, that ship already sailed. I'm like, look, I said, you see that right there? I start pointing out to him. He's like, I go, you didn't even paint that. Like, when you paint a porch and you have a main post, one would think that post would get painted. You did not paint the one side at all. And it's not like the hidden side. It's the fucking facing me side. And I said, don't worry about it, dude. I said, just have at it. Goodbye. We're done. So I thought, I'm not going to sit here and piss and complain. I'm not going to argue with him. I'm not going to ask for partial money back. I'm not going to listen, you got me, whatever, you made your money. What you've done is if anybody asks me around here who painted my porch, if they ask me about his name, I'm like saying no, don't use him. Two, you've lost future business as well. Because I was thinking, well, hey, I could probably use some help repainting the lounge in the fall. I'm gonna have to I'm gonna replace some boards and repaint the back, the deck. You could have had more business, making more money if you would have just done your fucking job right the first time, instead of doing it half-assed and thinking that you're just gonna be able to say paint's gonna do what it's paint gonna do and think that's gonna be acceptable. So you got the picture. Jen sent the picture. She's like, hey, Kerr hired somebody to paint the porch. You want to know how well it went? And then she sent a picture of me on a freaking ladder painting the porch. So yeah, that was basically my Saturday paint job.
Oh yeah. When we built the lounge here, I painted the outside, big ass walls, and I'm like, you know what? It's probably time to paint the house again. It's been about 7-8 years. And I get to the front of the garage and had to stop because it's the weekend. And then tell my boss that I'm painting. He's like, hey, my buddy's down from New Hampshire, and he's doing some work down here. He's vacationing, and he brings his tools down because he's a painter. And so yeah, he comes by and he's like, yeah, I can do that, the rest of it for you. And I'm like, how much? He's like, I don't, he's like, probably like $700. I'm like, whatever, just do it. Just fucking do it. I had the paint, and he looks at the paint and he goes, God damn. He goes, what did you pay for that? And I'm like, it was like $300 for 5. He goes, yeah, I know. That's like the best paint you can buy. He goes, most homeowners don't buy that. And I go, yeah, because I don't want to have to keep repainting.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he's done several other jobs for me since, painting some outside exterior doors, interior doors, and does a great job. And he does that. We got a good neighborhood handyman that does like pressure washing and things like that, not complicated stuff, but he does a great job. I've got another handyman, depending on what I need to have done. He does it. So yeah, I've had some good luck with some handy people.
It's tough. I mean, when I moved down here, it's like back when I was in Pennsylvania, you lifelong up there, you're gonna have some handyman. You come down here, it's so hard because it's so inconsistent, to find somebody who's good. It took me forever to find good garages, and a good mechanics, the ones that you trust and do a good job and treat you well and are pretty honest with you. But it kind of goes back to some of the conversations, but a lot of the conversations we've had about local business, support local business. Here's a guy I thought, man, you're out here trying to make some extra money. Maybe this is your primary job. I don't know, but if you're knocking on someone's door and saying, hey, you need your porch painted, you're either really fucking good at what you do, or you're a con artist.
Yeah.
Or you're trying to make a quick buck. Because I took it as, that takes a lot of nerve in a good way to go up to someone, just solicit, just knock on their door, like, hey, here's the flyer, here's my company, here's my business. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And I thought, well, I'm always about supporting people who do that kind of stuff, because like you were saying, you get someone to do a really good job, you keep having come back and do more and do more and do more and do more. And I just feel like every single time we venture off into doing into supporting local or doing something like that, you always get burned. Our old place, it was like I hired this guy to do the lawn. He stopped by the house, he's mowing someone's lawn. Yeah, sure. Freaking after the first couple of times, he's like, oh, he called me, hey, my lawnmower broke down. Oh, I couldn't make it. I got off work late. I'm like, well, listen, I'm gonna cut my own fucking lawn. Goodbye. Just if you can't be at the location when you say you're gonna be at the location, then forget about it. You give me 2 or 3 excuses. The lawnmower broke down, a freaking dog ate your homework, an old friend came in from town, I got a flat tire. It's like first time, okay, I'll give you a free pass. Second, third time, there's 3 strikes and you're done, even 2 in many cases. But yes, guy just did a real shitty job, and the funny part was I fucking painted the porch. I'm like, Jen, come on around. Don't you think? She's like, man, that doorway looks great. I go, that's awesome, because I didn't paint it.
Yeah.
She's like, the other paint must make it look pop. It must make it pop. I go, it does, because now you have this nice white porch. It makes the doorway look a little bit more poppier. But
yeah,
I'm like, no, I didn't do that part. But thanks for noticing.
yeah. So, Balls Deep 69 RH ask, what are y'all's pronouns so I can properly address? If you can't guess what mine is, Kerr, maybe, I don't know. He doesn't have a beard anymore, so
listen. If you are somebody that has pronouns in your email or says here's my pronouns, fine, thank you. It helps me out because I want to make sure that I'm being respectful.
Yeah.
For me personally, I don't subscribe to that. Just.
I've been called a lot of things. So
I was gonna say, I mean,
however you want to address me, Kevin and Kerr. How about that?
Yeah, I think I could get some pretty nasty names, but I wanted to ask. No, go ahead, Kev.
But before we continue, let's hear a little word from our partners and supporters of the show, Fogbox.
Let's be real. Most travel cigar cases look the same. Black, boring, forgettable. But Fogbox, they're doing it different. Every Fogbox travel case and lighter features custom hydro dip graphics, from bold patterns to badass designs that pop. These aren't just tools, they're statements. Whether you're at a lounge, a campsite, or on the beach, Fogbox gear stands out while keeping your cigars protected and fresh. Plus, the quality is rock solid. Airtight, rugged, and built to handle wherever you take it. If you're still carrying around the same black, plain cigar case everyone else has, it's time for an upgrade. Visit fogbox.com and grab something as unique as your cigar taste. That's fogbox.com. Built to travel, designed to stand out.
Fogbox.
So you were saying?
I was going to ask you, I mean, I know you don't watch pro football. College football on Saturday was quite the entertaining. What's up, AJ? Or RJ? It was quite entertaining. I mean, you had extremes from, like you said, a bunch of 70 points scored on games. You had a couple of upsets.
Yeah. A couple of upsets, man. What about that Gator game? God. And I'm not going to lie. I mean, I believe, and I could be mistaken, that Florida has one of the toughest schedules in college football this year. From what I have read, I don't know if that's true or not, but they say
lost
they do
to
have
South Florida, right? Or who did they lose to?
Was it USF?
Was it?
Did they lose to the Knights?
Is that a tough schedule?
USF has a
good team. I mean,
yeah. They were the ones years ago that went undefeated and wanting to wonder why they weren't in the championship, like where they weren't contention. And I'm like, well, yeah, you guys went undefeated, but you did not have a tough fucking schedule.
Yeah, and that who's the quarterback who played there? There a quarterback who played the NFL.
USF?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Culpepper?
I know.
Did Culpepper play there?
I don't know. I know he's an attorney now in Tampa. He has his own law firm. Yeah, he has his own law firm. So he's done well after the NFL. What did RJ Senior Video Travel Case and think about ordering one? Olaf of the 68 degrees. Also the Rut case from Pelican you showed. What size was that one? The Rut case. Let me go grab that real quick.
Yeah, but you had South Florida. Yes, they was 18-16. They beat Florida. That wasn't a big upset. Well, it is now because they're ranked. But gosh, I can't remember the other upsets we were sharing.
That was the R60 Rut case. I got this one. You can get them on Amazon, but I got this one from Warfighter Tobacco. So it's got their big metal logo on there. So definitely check out Warfighter before you just hop on Amazon. Support a local business. Yeah. So you had that game. Yeah, like you said, some like 70-0, 70-10. And then, then some pretty close games, like that Michigan game. That was, I didn't know. And this was the first, cause I had to work Sunday. So I didn't get a chance to see any recaps. I like watching, getting at least recaps on all the games. So I don't know what happened with Michigan.
Mississippi State beat Arizona State, and Arizona State was ranked 12th. Mississippi State was not ranked. And Michigan lost to Oklahoma 24-13.
Yeah, Oklahoma's. I don't know how they are last year, but Oklahoma's been a tough team.
Yeah, they were ranked 18th, Michigan 15. That just whatever. See you later, Michigan, friggin', boom. And then Florida, obviously, with that one, that was that's a tough one. But
now AP's got what? Ohio State 1, Penn State 2.
Penn State's been 2. So Ohio State 1, Penn State 2, LSU 3, the Ducks of Oregon 4, and Miami, Florida 5. Georgia slides to number 6, Texas 7, the Fighting freaking Irish of Notre Dame freaking 8.
Did Georgia lose? Is that reason they slid?
No, they won. They won.
Okay, they must not had a tough game because they were, And
then rounding it off is Illinois, number 9, and Barry Bones. You'll be happy. Oh, Florida's 10th.
Oh, that's
our revenge.
That's it. I did see the recap of the Dolphins game though, which was pretty bad. They're calling for Mike McDaniel's head. So I don't know.
I lived in an alternate universe on Sunday. I don't watch a lot of pro football. I just don't. I mean, I am this year. The Eagles have my dad's squad, so I'll be watching. The Eagles. I do root for the Eagles. I'm a Rams fan since I was 5, and an Eagles fan. But I was in an alternate universe this weekend because I watched the Steelers play, and I was rooting for them because I like Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
I don't like Pittsburgh. I don't. I lived there for 5 years. I don't like the Steelers. And they beat the Jets.
Oh, that was this weekend.
They beat the Jets, who he used to play for. And and he had a great game. I mean, he looked like the Aaron Rodgers of old. He had a really solid game. That Steelers defense looked, they're just freaking rocking people left and right. But that
we got our Ohio State quarterback is Aaron Rodgers' backup, or one of the 3 backups that we have. Right. So it kind of sucks. It's like with Aaron Rodgers, unless he gets hurt, that dude, he's not playing at all this year. So
no, that's fine. That's fine. Let Rodgers have another year or 2 left down, and then he'll learn under Rodgers, and they'll hit the ground running when it's time for them to play. But the one that blew my mind was I was scrolling last night and I'm like, what's the late game? Not the night. Well, yeah, what's the night game? I was like, oh, it's Ravens Bills, and I went, holy shit, Ravens 40, Bills fucking 25. I said they're in the 4th quarter, 10 minutes left in the 4th quarter. I'm like, that game's over. I woke up this morning, Bills 41, Ravens 40.
Really? They came back that late?
They came back and just, I know there's some folks, they came back and scored 22 points in the 4th quarter.
Wow. That's some Tom Brady shit right there.
Dude, Josh Allen threw for 394 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Wow.
Lamar Jackson didn't have a shabby night. He had 209 yards for 2 touchdowns, but Josh Allen threw for just under 400 yards. And what's fun is if you go like on a TikTok or something, it'll show you the 25-40 score, or it was like 25-40 or something like that at like 10 minutes left in the game. And then it just kind of goes through all of the scores of Buffalo and all the big stops. And it's like, how the hell did that happen? I mean, just games like that, or the Steelers game, the freaking kicker kicks a 60-yard field goal to win the game.
Man.
And he kicked it, and it cleared, and it looked like it would have been good from 70 yards. That was a
really
moot. Yeah, there was a big freaking exclamation point when he kicked that football, because that I was like, he kicked. I was like, Dude, did they say 60 yards or did they say 40 yards? Because that motherfucker's got fucking free. That thing's got speed. It's got height. Nope, 60 yards. Bloop.
Man.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive. And I sat there and cheered, and I said, I'm cheering for the Steelers. There's definitely that freaking Comet, the 3A Atlas or whatever. That's got to be a spaceship because things are not normal right now.
So smoking OGT BLT. Oh man, I forgot to order that from Oak Glen, and that looked like a good cigar. That's the from Oak Glen Tobacconists. They black label. James did a cigar for them.
Okay.
Yeah, super cool. So did you catch any baseball games? Maybe like a Phillies game?
I gotta tell you something, man. I am so ridiculously over this whole freaking baseball Karen thing at the Phillies. It's like, I don't know, man. It's a different time. That's why I guess I'm become my father. I become an old man. Instead of shaking my fist, I'm like, it's a different time. But it's ridiculous. But I think the attention that has been given, the memes that have been created, the AI pictures that have been created, the Elizabeth Warren lookalikes that would be funny, that's eclipsed the actual event of what happened, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, then I love that clip of her holding that ball. Jessica and I were talking about this before the show with that maniacal grin on her face. And I'm like, if that was a friend of mine, I would print out 100 of those photos and I would never let her live that moment down. I'd put it on a birthday cake. I'd wear a t-shirt with that photo on there. Hilarious. And if it wasn't for a kid, we never would have heard anything about it. If it was just two adults going at it, but it was for a kid. It was for a kid. So that's what, I love that they're trying to destroy this woman's life. So.
You see, me on the other hand, they're like, she should be fired. I'm like, why?
Oh yeah, lose her job. What, really? No, she should be harassed online. I agree with that. For at least 30 days, she should be harassed online, and then we should just let her live after that.
I'm like, lose her job? Why? Well,
I know. What's that? Oh yeah, Jessica. I read there was one lady that people thought it was her, and she had to change her Facebook profile to what, and it said that's not me. I'm a Red Sox fan.
Yeah, so. I saw that one, but it's like, it's like she's an educator. She's a teacher from New Jersey. She should be kept. Like, why? What? She gave the middle finger. I'm like, yeah, she didn't give it to a bunch of kids in the middle of a classroom. Like,
yeah.
Now I understand. When I was in school, and you're part of the school, you're part of academics, you're part of the teachers, or if you're an athlete, they tell you you're always representing the school. Always act like you're representing the school. I get that part, but for crying out loud, man, she's a dope. What she did was stupid. It was dopey. It was freaking really, really petty. And in this day and age, why in God's, I mean, you apparently either don't care, you have no self-awareness, which apparently I think that's the case, to know that when that happens, that there's not 5,000 cameras on you. If it's not the freaking TV camera's going to get you, there's 5,000 people, getting you on camera. Like, just, if you're going to act like a dope, you're going to get fucking you're going to get videoed. Like, this is why I was so happy, man. When I was growing up, we didn't have that shit. Thank God. Thank you.
I know. It was just like the tennis player, that signed that hat, gave it to that kid. Yeah. And then as he turns around, that dude snatches it from that kid's hand. That guy should have got fired from his job. That guy should be owner. Yeah,
that guy should be. He's the owner of some company, and what they do? Yeah. Someone get on, they start losing business and everything else. I mean,
yeah, that was right. He snatched it from a child's hand. That guy deserves to go to. That guy deserves to go to prison. The only good side thing that came from that is that tennis player said he ordered 10,000 hats, and he's going to autograph every one, and he's going to give them away to every kid at every match, just so that guy's hat is worthless. That guy's hat will be worth zero money now, but that guy deserves to go to prison. So I'm just, man. You stole it from a child.
If it was my kid, I'd be pissed off as well. But I mean, after a while, it's like, listen, man, just move on. It's too much. Like, if that's how slow and how stupid the freaking news is that everyone's been obsessing about a freaking Phillies baseball fan. Oh, a Karen, as they say, Karen who freaking goes over, hits the guy. The guy jumped. You see him jump?
Oh yeah.
And he was like, I thought I was going to get into a fight. I'm like, dude, you looked like you were not ready to fight anything. Like, you looked like you had scared, like you were going through a fun house.
He like did it like his fist up like this, and it's just like, you know, that because like the wrong person would have just you tapped and got into his face, he'd have shoved you over the seats. Like you'd have done a backflip, and you'd have been in your rights. You know, someone taps you on the shoulder and starts screaming at you at a baseball game.
The wrong person, man.
Wrong person, bro. Like I said, flipped over 2 or 3 seats.
There would have been this. It would have been just been like, hey, that would have been it. That'd have been the end of it.
That's it. And then that kid got all that swag, and he got tickets to the World Series from the owner of Camping World.
So guess what? I don't feel so. I mean, at that point, I'm like, look, guys, here's the deal, man. Let her go. Because what she did was elevate that kid's status and all the freebies he got.
Oh yeah. Yep. So the TikTok feed now is all the like the good moments from different sporting events where, you know, things like that happen. Like there's a lot of them, like hockey, where they throw the puck over, you know, to like a little kid that's on the glass, and an adult takes it. And then they make sure the player comes over and make sure that, you know, they get another one. So it's always cool.
Yeah. I mean, the kid got taken care of, you know, he you know, it sucked, but it was like, listen, you know, not only did they make her look really, she made herself look stupid, but not only is she look stupid now, but now you dealt with a 5-minute disappointment within 10 minutes. Within 10 minutes, you got a bag of a bunch of free shit. Within a couple of hours, you were standing in front of a freaking a professional baseball player while he's signing baseball bats and everything else given to you. And then a couple hours after that, you got tickets to the World Series. You know what? Freaking, I'd find the Karenest looking motherfucker and sit right next to him at the next game and be like, come on, I want to go to the World Series. God,
that's it. You know, and it's, do you transform when you get that haircut? You know, or like, you know, like you go in and you're such a bitch, you know, then the stylist is like, all right, you graduated to this haircut. You don't have a say in it. This is how your haircut now, you know, it's just, this is you.
It's such a shame because the personality, like I know plenty of people who have that haircut and they're not fucking dopes. But it's like
I don't know a single person with a Karen haircut that's not
as soon as someone acts a certain way and they have a look, it's like now that look is ruined.
Yeah,
you know, that look is ruined. You know, no one wears the Hitler mustache anymore.
Yeah, I mean, MJ tried to pull it back off, and that didn't go well.
No, it did not. Exactly.
Yeah.
MJ tried to. You see, a couple people are like, "No, dude, listen, that and the name gone."
Yeah,
gone, completely gone because a freaking piece of shit freaking wore that mustache, and that was his first name. That's how horrible of a human being that person is.
Yeah, and he was probably just a Charlie Chaplin fan, you know, at the end of the day. You know, just wanted to emulate his hero. And, you know, luckily we can still rock a Stalin and not be ostracized, you know. So Stalin, man, that was a mustache you could set your watch to right there.
I was. Man. That was a guy who was just as freaking brutal and evil and freaking.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's you know, but yeah, I mean, it's I don't get it. The obsession, like the obsession with the cheerleaders for the freaking Vikings. Like really, really, all of a sudden now.
Yeah, I know.
You're that interested and you're that freaking pissed off because there's 2 guys who are on the cheerleading squad. Before that occurred, you gave 0.0 shits about the cheerleaders as you watched the football game. Now all of a sudden you're going to boycott? Shut the fuck up, dude.
Yeah.
Just sit down, watch the Vikings suck again this year, and it'll be over and done with.
You know, you're talking about the boycotts, and every week there's a new business we're supposed to be boycotting. A couple of weeks ago it was Walmart, and then it was like Target, and it's like these 24-hour boycotts, and it's just like nobody's doing these. Nobody's boycott. You know, so a couple of people, you know, so they can post on Facebook. I boycotted Walmart today. But you'll be there. But you'll be there next week, won't you?
Yeah. They felt like they did their part. You know, that's people who don't have much to go on and do in their lives because they have to find their identity by doing that shit. You know what? I'm boycotting.
Yeah.
You know, if you tell me to boycott something, I'm going to go and shop there.
Yeah.
It's just so stupid. But yeah, it was when I saw that, I was like,
yeah, the only boycott I did, and it lasted years, was Pizza Hut. I bet it was 5 or 6 years. I would not eat Pizza Hut.
Wow.
Because one of their drivers got robbed, and he ended up shooting a guy. You know, he got robbed at gunpoint. I think he got pistol whipped, and he pulled out a gun, self-defense, shot the guy, got fired. Pizza Hut's like, this is not, again, this goes against company policy, and blah blah blah. And there's a big uproar. And I stuck to that boycott. It was a long time, 5, 6, 7 years. I refused to eat Pizza Hut. Refused.
Good thing I'll eat Pizza Hut. So
yeah,
I guess I boycotted that.
It wasn't. I'm not going to lie. It wasn't a tough boycott because
I was going to say
because their food sucks.
I was going to say. Apparently, the boycott was lifted in freaking in the Panhandle when that was the only place we had to eat.
Yeah. So but Defuniak Springs.
Defuniak Springs. That's when the boycott lifted.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So, they eventually had a new pizza I wanted to try a couple years ago, and I tried it, and it sucked. You know, I'm like, oh well. You know, I've only eaten it a few times since. Yeah, garbage foods. Who cares?
Pizza Hut. When I was in college, man, Pizza Hut was the place to be and the place to work.
Oh
because
yeah,
it was like, you know, that was back when they had the Pizza Hut, right? So
yeah,
you didn't have a complicated menu. It's fucking pizza, right? How hard is that?
Yeah.
And families would come in, you'd flip the table, you'd make $5, $10, $7 a pop. Boom, boom, boom. You'd flip people out. So you'd be able to do that. Then you could eat pizza at the end of the night and bring it home. And I liked Pizza Hut pizza back then because it was free first and foremost, but I actually liked the crust. So you come home, it's like I made $90 in tips. I worked a couple of hours a night, and I got a free pizza. That was the place to work.
I tell you, that was the place to go as a kid. You got that little coupon from reading the books. So our parents would take us in. You got that sizzling cast iron pan. Why they were serving that to children is beyond me. You had the red cup full of Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
And you were on top of the fucking world. Like you were king. And if you were like friends with like one of the rich kids that had their birthday parties at Pizza Hut, holy shit.
Pizza Hut, yep. I used to like Pizza Hut, and I remember that the Wendy's chocolate. That's funny. The stuffed potato, the salad bar, the stuffed potato bar
yeah, at
Wendy's. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I laughed when I saw the Vikings. I was like, man, you all did not give two shits about the freaking Vikings cheerleading squad. Now you find out there's 2 guys on it. Now you're going to boycott. You're going to be upset. Shut up. Watch football. You know what? You should be more pissed off at the bullshit kickoff. You know, that's what you're watching every time. Or the freaking ridiculous refereeing, or freaking there's a hell of a lot more to be freaking irritated at the NFL than freaking a bunch of freaking couple guys who are cheerleading. That's what they want to do. Fine. Great. You didn't care 2 shits about cheerleaders prior to that. Again, watch the Vikings suck again this year. And then when they suck at the end of the year, you can blame it on the male cheerleaders because Lord knows, you know, not on freaking play calling, the freaking talent or the coaching, you know, and then go about your day. But I mean,
yeah. So I can't. I forgot. Are they doing the marking the ball electronically and and I knew there was a preseason thing, so that went over. So that's in regular season now.
I believe so.
Okay,
so. I'll have to look that up. But I know that they did it in preseason. I thought they were going to do that.
They need to bring that to college. They need to bring it to everything. You know, I think it was hockey that had the first, wasn't it? With the pucks, weren't they the
horrible,
first?
dude. Fucking horrible.
What was it?
The puck that freaking you can follow with the freaking with the light.
Yeah,
it was terrible. It did not go over well. It was true hockey fans hated it. It was stupid. It was shit that they did for commercials, like, you know, oh, here's a great slap shot they did for commercials and stuff like that, and highlights. And then they're like, hey, we can put this thing on the puck, and then to make it more exciting, everyone can follow this. And then it was like the guy be coming down the ice, and there's this blob on his stick, and you're like, this is horrible. This needs to end, and it needs to end quickly.
I like it. I like it in golf on their drives. You know,
well, that's different.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Yeah, that's definitely because you don't see it all the time like hockey. So
it says the virtual first down measurements for 2005 season has it up. Like, yeah, it looks like it is. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Down, yeah.
And Jairus, for what happened to real food, or that was good. Yeah. We've definitely gotten away from like real food. Everything is just hot garbage now. Everything is just everything's just fast food. It's all it is. I'm glad to say McDonald's did have a press conference I saw like a week ago that the CEO has said that he agrees that their food pricing has gotten out of hand and they need to consider lowering it. And, we don't. I mean, that's one of the reasons we don't eat a lot of fast food in our house at all. You know, and it's not the pricing or anything else. We just don't like feeling like crap. We'll like let's hit the easy button and go to Culver's. And Culver's does have pretty good food, but. And then like a couple hours later, like, oh God, why did we do that again? No, you know, I go out for Taco Bell for Gabby and I, because that's our treat together. We like Taco Bell. We're the only ones in the house that eat it. So like once a month, I'll go get us some tacos, and it's like $38.
Yeah,
you know, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? So
it's horrible. Wyatt liked. He's in that age. He's 17. It's like Jen can make a great home cooked meal. She makes burgers, he eats it. He eats food, but it's like he likes his Waffle House. He likes his I mean, at least you can still go down to Little Caesars and buy a freaking pizza for $5, right? It's shitty pizza, but he eats it, that's fine. But he likes breakfast at McDonald's and he likes breakfast at Chick-fil-A. We go to McDonald's. I get him the egg, cheese, and sausage biscuit meal. He likes the McMuffins, the McGriddles, but he likes the McGriddles just on their own without anything in there. So I order two orders of McGriddles, and he likes a mocha. And they're like, that'll be $23 when you turn around to come to the first window. And I'm like, son of a bitch, that's $23. You go down to freaking Chick-fil-A and you get some chicken those chicken minis.
Yeah,
dude, I should probably have stock in Chick-fil-A. I mean, you go if you and someone else go to Chick-fil-A for lunch or breakfast like that, you're not spending less than $30-$40.
Oh yeah,
that's absurd.
I used to live on fast food as well. Chick-fil-A irritates me because I can't get like a large shake. Their shakes are good. Give me a bigger size. Allow me to have more of your shake. I don't want two. I want one big one. You know, they don't have like large. So, but yeah, we don't eat a lot of fast food. We go out for pizza. We go out to our local Italian place. We get good pizza. Mm-hmm. When we go out for breakfast, like on a Sunday morning, we go out to our local Jersey. The owners were from Jersey, so we get our bagel, egg, and cheese sandwiches, which are still good, which are still good pricing. Yeah. This morning I had to run some errands, so I stopped at Wawa and got a fresh made burrito, which was really good. You know, I know they're probably using frozen eggs and frozen sausage, but it was good and it was inexpensive. So if we're getting quick to go food, at least we do have some healthier options around here, and we don't have to eat just the fast food garbage.
Yeah, I'm not a big fast food person anymore. I back in the day, you know, I could house some stuff, and that was always particular specific stuff, but I can't do it anymore. Every once in a while, I'll have a little something here and there, but just, I just can't. It's like you said, I always feel like crap afterwards.
Yeah. Now, Brian, Jessica and I are the same way. Like we'll go if we do go somewhere and we get a couple of meals, be it Chick-fil-A, McDonald's, whatever. We always get a nugget on the side to split. So we love nuggets. So we end up having to get a 12-piece because the dogs love nuggets. So they always get some nuggies as well.
When Wyatt gets it, I'll steal a nugget or two. I will, from McDonald's, I'll steal a nugget or two. And it's like, that's what I can handle that.
Yeah. Jessica does not believe in the dad tax when it comes to nuggets, candy, any of that. If anything comes into the house, dad takes a piece. And Jessica's like, that's for the kids. Dad tax. Dad tax. She does not believe in the dad tax. And I'm like, well, you don't have to be. Dad tax is not theft. Or dad tax. Yeah. That's her. Taxation is theft. That's Jessica. Dad tax is theft. It's not.
Then we just call it dad tariff. Then we'll make it a little bit more apropos.
That's what I'll tell her next time. Dad tariff.
Dad tariff. Sorry.
President said so.
Sorry, we are importing food into this house. Dad tariff.
That's it. Dad
All
tariff.
food imported into this home gets freaking dad tariff. That's the end of it.
That's it. The dogs have their cheese tax, so dad can have his dad.
Yeah.
Tariff. Oh, I love it.
Yeah. Jen and I we have a couple of pizza places. There's a great Mexican restaurant we go to down the street. But most of the times, like especially for breakfast, Jen will make us breakfast sandwiches when I eat breakfast. Like I'll have breakfast maybe a couple times a month, as a little cheat day. But it's usually Taylor ham and egg and cheese on like a croissant, and it's always perfect. And it's too many places we've gone to now, especially around here, that they're just they're too inconsistent with the products that they produce. There's a couple of places that actually have really good bagels that are pretty consistent, but overall, like I was bored. I had no idea why I did this. I was bored one morning, and I went to I was in a mood for a bagel. It was late morning. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go to Panera Bread. I haven't been to Panera in a long time. So I pull up. I'm like, hey, I'd like to have a sesame seed bagel. Can I get that extra toasted? She's like, okay. Cream cheese? I go, what do you have? Plain and vegetable. I'm like, that's it? Like that's all you have? Yes. All right, I'll take plain. So I pull up. The bagel isn't even wrapped in paper. It's just put in a bag. The nasty bag that's been sitting around all day.
Yeah.
And it's got a container of cream cheese popped in there, Philadelphia cream cheese. Thank you very much, Philadelphia. Not even anything homemade or even freaking with a damn freaking Panera Bread logo on it, and a plastic fork or plastic knife. And I'm like, and I ate this bagel. I'm like, it's a typical freaking, Panera Bread, just typical bagel. But I have a couple more selections of cream cheese, man. If you're gonna sell a bagel, you have to have at least five cream cheeses available. If you're gonna offer bagels, you need at least 5 cream cheeses. One of them's plain, one of them's in vegetable. You have to have some sort of fruit, whether it's strawberry or freaking blueberry, and the other 2 have to be some sort of something garlicky, and then the other ones are jalapeno. You have to exactly.
We go to a place whenever we go down in Boynton Beach. There's a bagel place down there, and that we go to, and they have too many. They have like 25 cream cheeses, and I'm like, this is too many.
No such thing.
I know, and it's like I don't know now, So I'm an everything bagel kind of guy, So I'll do the everything bagel, and it's just like, oh, too many cream cheeses, way too many.
Never can have too many. You can never have too many cream cheeses. Yes, for first world problem. You are right. I like everything bagels if it's a bagel shop that makes good bagels.
Yes.
If it's a place that I've had shitty freaking everything bagels that are just crap. But if you go to a really good bagel place, everything bagels are good. I always got to go with sesame seeds because I love sesame seeds. I love the flavor of them. That bagel's always good. And I every once in a while I'll maybe do like a cinnamon raisin with some butter on it, something a little bit sweeter if I'm in the mood for that. What's really good too is this place used to have cinnamon raisin bagels, and they had cinnamon butter. You put cinnamon butter on it; it's really good.
Oh, did you see? Speaking of that, did you see the new Kerry Gold cinnamon sugar butter?
No.
Oh my God, it looks delicious. I saw like an unboxing. So they opened it up and it was like this brown log inside of it, but it's Kerry Gold cinnamon sugar butter that I have got. I gotta write that down. I forgot all about it when I saw the video. So
no kidding. I did not know that. Yeah. That and garlic butter. I'm a big fan of garlic butter.
Yeah.
I used to go to a bagel shop back. Actually, it's funny is where the beer and tobacco shop is in Harrisburg. That strip mall, there used to be a bagel shop in there I went to all the time because I lived right down the street from it. And they used to make their own garlic butter. They would take freaking butter, they'd melt, they'd kind of soften it up. They would take freaking freshly chopped garlic, freaking put it in, mix it up, and that was your garlic butter.
We used to in the restaurant business, we used to clarify our own butter, which was kind of a pain in the ass. But once you clarify butter and get all the moisture and everything out of it, it's so much better, so much more of a buttery taste.
Yeah.
And, so good when you find a place that does things like that have their own garlic butter. Oh, love it.
No, it's a good breakfast. And the other morning, I wanted to bring this up tonight because I posted about the Smoke In Cigar of the Club month, Cigar of the Month Club for September. I enjoyed smoking one of the cigars after eating a breakfast bagel or breakfast sandwich that Jennifer made. And it was the Aging Room Quattro Nicaragua Concerto Vibrato. It was a 6x54. AJ Fernandez made. Holy freaking macanoles. That cigar was fantastic. I didn't need to have a cup of coffee after I ate that Taylor Egg ham and cheese croissant. That was like a cigar, coffee, everything you wanted to have all in one. Freaking awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait to try that one. I've got my sheet right here. And there's the all new Alec Bradley. We were talking before the show. The Do Not Disturb. That's a new cigar. The Rocky Patel Dark Star Toro. Oh my God, what a crazy good cigar. The Lost and Found Pepper Cream Soda. The Ozinger family cigars. First set. I've had that one many times. Great one. But yeah, the Aging Room Quattro Nicaraguan.
Was that?
I have to say that word a little slow sometimes. Nicaragua.
It's like you're from England.
Yeah, the concerto. But great. Another great month. I can't wait to.
This is my favorite month so far. Like it was every cigar because I started off with the Lost and Found because I had just recently got a Lost and Found when we were at Boda Cigars. So I smelled like, oh, this is really good. And Lost and Found, I go back and forth. Like I'm not a big fan of all this stuff. I mean, good cigars just not my flavor profile.
I'm same way.
This one here just was like it was just hit the mark. And then I got it. Then I smoked the Aging Room. That's when I had that for breakfast. I was like, "Holy shit!" And then I think that out of all of them, I didn't expect the Aging Room to suck. I expected that to be very good, but it definitely was one of those ones where my expectations were high, and it not only met but exceeded those expectations. The Alec Bradley Do Not Disturb. Didn't know much about it. It's Ecuadorian Connecticut wrapper. It looked like I was like, oh, it's gonna be a good mild cigar, be a good one to end the day with. It had some spice to it. It's a solid medium cigar. I was surprised. I was blown away. And like we talked before, whenever you have a cigar that is a Connecticut shade, and your brain already says to you, this is going to be mild. And when it's not mild, it's got spice to it, it automatically gets bumped up an extra point.
Oh yeah.
And the same with a dark cigar. If you smoke it and it's not spicy and it's not freaking full of flavor, if it's kind of a good medium, it automatically reduces a point, which it really shouldn't because it's still a good cigar. It's just your eyes automatically assign a flavor profile. And if it is not that flavor profile, Connecticut's, if they're spicy, they're always going to exceed expectations. Maduro, if they're more medium based and not a lot of pepper, it's not going to exceed your expectations. It's going to actually let you down a little bit because your mind already is set to what you want it to taste like, what you think it's going to taste like. And blown away by the Lost and Found. Really good cigar.
Yeah, it's great. On Abe's desk, if you ever visit him at Smoke Inn, he keeps a big old stack of paperwork of every cigar that's been in every month of the Cigar of the Month Club since it started. And he always cross checks that to make sure that he has never had a duplicate. So I love that.
You could probably put that on like a spreadsheet and it would automatically catch if it was duplicated instead of a big sheet. But I do like the big sheet story. But Abe, there's technology that could help you out with that one, buddy.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
But I like it that he's that integral in the month. I like that he takes pride in the fact that he doesn't have repeats. He tries to throw in some like I said, new stuff. Like we just found out that Alec Bradley was brand new.
Yeah,
and to make it in a club shipment, is fantastic. So
and they get a couple, like the one that had the Black Moses in it. So you're going to get a you may get a boutique here and there. But I mean, every month's been great. Like you said, even when I got the what was it? I can't remember which one it was. Had the
what's going on, B. Scott?
Oh, I think B. Scott, what's up, buddy? I haven't talked to B. Scott. I used to hang out and smoke some cigars with B. Scott back in the day down here in South Kakalaki. He's a good dude. The Oliva Series V, Melania. It's like the one that you see it in all the humidors when you walk in. It's like and you walk by it. When you get it in your club membership and you smoke it, you're like, God dang, that's a fucking great cigar, man. I should probably fucking buy some more of these, or at least buy them when I go in. And then you quickly forget because there's so many options in there. But I love getting that cigar that you recognize in the humidor at your shop all the time. You pass it by because you've had it. You're like, I want to try something different because Oliva's going to be Oliva. That's going to be there, And then when you
Oliva going to do what Oliva do.
Oliva going to do what Oliva do. That's a good one. But then, and then you're like, you smoke, you're like, son of a bitch. I forgot this is a really good freaking cigar.
Yeah. For sure. They got some great sticks. Always a good club. We love doing that one each and every month. Kerr, did you see the newest Theo Von podcast with the Amish kid?
No, I have not, but you've
got to watch it, bro. It is. He's got a kid on a Rumspringa, and which I thought that was like a thing that Amish kids did once. And
Rumspringa, you 16, you go away from home and
and so for his clan or community, like you do it every year from like 16 to 18. You do Rumspringa, and it's in the summertime, but you just you're always at home, so you do Rumspringa on the weekends. So you go to town and you get to have fun like every weekend.
Really?
For the summer, every year from like 16 to 18. So it's not like the one time you go away and for like a summer and then you come back and you decide whether you're going to stay Amish or not.
Yeah, I mean that's the pure definition of it, of the fact that they get to go outside their strict rules and decide whether they want to be baptized and join the church or be the party animal that they become.
Yeah, no, I guess I guess it's just on the weekend. So he had a lot of questions, and it was great. I guess the Theo met the kid, invited him to one of his shows, and then like we got to get you on the podcast, and it was great. Just some of the questions Theo asked. There's a whole talk about autism and Down syndrome in the the Amish community, for because a lot of first cousin thing going on, that they try not to,
a lot of crossbreeding, some direct crossbreeding, but not very big. I'm kind of interested in the autism because there isn't the Amish, and also a lot of the Mennonites too. A lot of those different ordungs, they don't believe in vaccinations.
Yeah. So that happens, and I guess that one talk about the there's some Mexican Amish are becoming a thing, and Theo's like he goes well, like, isn't that a bitch? You Mexican, you're expected to do all this work, construction, and then you go into become an Amish, and then that's all they got you doing.
Go build a couple of barns.
Yeah, so it was great. So but yeah, then the kid talks about that there's a lot of technology that obviously is being hidden, and a lot of the parents in the community know, like, the kids have phones and laptops, and it's one of those secrets that you keep it in the back of the barn, keep it out of sight, and it's just kind of looked the other way. So great episode. I'm about halfway through it, and it's got me rolling at times. So
that's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the Lebanon, Lancaster area, so the Mennonites and Amish were very surrounded. I actually played basketball against Lancaster Mennonite. It was a high school, and I played against a guy who had polio when he was a kid.
Yeah.
One very small calf. Again, they're not very big into the whole, vaccination. So you got a couple popping around here and there with a couple of cases of polio. It's not. Wasn't
that a thing just a couple of years ago, like an outbreak of polio in the Amish community up there? I think it was just a few years ago. There was
probably you'll see outbreaks like that. Again, it's very. I knew a couple of people that the one guy I worked with, he and his wife were very much a little bit more hippie and, not wanting your traditional Western medicine. And they actually joined a church, a Mennonite church, so they could claim that it's against their religious belief to get their kids vaccinated. So the schools, they could actually get them involved in the school. Now, looking it up, autism exists in the Amish community, but from 2010, I'm a little bit more curious on in 2023, but approximately 1 in 271 of the children have a prevalence of autism is 1 in 271, where the national average in the U.S. is 1 out of 31.
Really?
Yep.
Huh. I wonder if it's also just undiagnosed as well.
It could be undiagnosed. It could be the low reported, of the presence. It could just be not reported properly. I mean, it could be a number of things. I think that when you start, looking into these statistics and stuff, you got to do a little bit of a deeper dive and figure out why you're coming up with these numbers that are way different.
Yeah. Because that was one thing that people were, when RFK, is touting these numbers, and older generation, before me, it's one thing that, that they'd said that, like, it was a stigma, like so it's a lot of unreported numbers. Is autism really high? Which I personally think it is, but I think the numbers from the 50s, 60s, 70s were a little skewed because, you had parents, you just kept your kid at home. And they still had institutions then, and so maybe there was a lot of unreporting.
Or you sent them to school,
I mean,
yeah,
you sent them to school, and it was just the weird kid.
Yeah,
that's the weird kid with the quirk, and it was like, it just didn't go reported.
Right.
So
I don't know, man. I think like ADHD as well. ADHD is one of those diagnoses that depends on where you're looking and who you're talking to. There's some folks that say it's underdiagnosed. A lot of folks believe it's overdiagnosed. They do believe it's overdiagnosed in boys because it's just boys being boys. And as soon as you got a boy who's a little freaking running all over the place like crazy, I can't control him. He's got ADHD. Yeah. And it's underdiagnosed in girls because they're like, oh, she's just a daydreamer. She's just a creative. Yeah. And it's like, no, that's just the form of ADHD in a girl. And that's how it comes out is the lack of attention, et cetera, et cetera. So there is a belief that it's overdiagnosed, underdiagnosed, in between boys and girls. But overall, they went through a big pop in the 90s where it was just overdiagnosed because parents didn't want to parent. Parents wanted to put their kids on drugs, and it was easier to put a kid on drug than it was to freaking discipline them.
Yeah, that's it. They said the same thing when Kevin Jr. was little, and I was like, yeah, he's just a boy running around preschool, just waving his hands and yelling and being a little boy and having his little, his little sticks, his little pew-pews and pointing at people. And it's like, yeah, he's just a little boy doing little boy things. Yeah. When Amber wanted her hair cut short and she wanted to play softball and not wear dresses. Yeah, that didn't mean anything else either. She was a tomboy. Jessica was a tomboy. Playing softball, that's,
Yeah, I mean, it's fairly common. I mean, that's why I said it depends on. But the same thing with autism. It's like, okay, is it just that we are recognizing it more now, and so that's the reason why the prevalence rates have gone up, or are we just labeling every little quirky thing as it being autism? I think that's a question. That's not a Kerry question. I think that is a question that is asked and should be asked because that's where you start digging in a little bit deeper. And if you're not smart enough or brave enough to ask those questions, then you're just going to believe whatever statistic they come out with. I mean, because there has to be some sort of a reason why, or there has to be a reason why, not some sort of a reason why. There has to be a reason why those numbers jumped from whether it was 1 in 1,000, 1 in 10,000 to 1 in 31, 1 in 19 in some areas.
And Mike makes a point. He doesn't have a background in healthcare. It's look, the one thing I do like about RFK, he started a conversation for me that has forced me into doing a lot of my own research. I just had my own grandkid, or Amber, just had a baby. So RFK got me at least doing my own research. We're not anti-vax at all, but Amber, I've had these discussions. I got Amber books, and she's going to definitely space out the vaccines. It's not going to be inundated all at once. He talks about autism. I didn't know, when he talks about these numbers, at least I go down that rabbit hole now and really trying to look into, and then getting my information from everywhere as much as I can. And I think the consensus is that it is a hell of a lot more prevalent now than it ever has been in history. But then,
and why?
The why is what has everybody, you talk to 100 scientists, you get 100 different answers of the why.
Well, it depends on who's paying them. I mean, I'm not an anti-vaxxer either, like you said, but I also have to ask the question why, and I'm not going to believe a blind statement that it is just better diagnostic tools. I don't believe that because I've seen there's a lot of stuff in the medical community now that just makes you kind of scratch your head. There's when it comes to, and that comes to diagnosis, therapy approaches, everything else, it's gotten to the point where you got to start asking yourself why when the prevalence is so high. And if you're not asking that question, I don't give a fuck if RFK's got a freaking medical background in healthcare. He's a smart dude. You have someone up there who's a smart person. They're going to ask questions. They're going to start a dialogue, and then they freaking put people who have that background to get on it and get the work done. Where's the problem with that? 10 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever, when all the different celebrities, Jenny McCarthy, a number of folks were coming out and talking about their autistic kids, and we're talking about vaccinations. I didn't see anybody out there freaking ripping them. I saw the whole freaking community, the freaking different, the Hollywood community come out and support people like that. And back them up. They may not have agreed with them, but they were supportive and backing up. Now you got RFK saying it. Now everybody wants to freaking string up and say he's a dumbass and he's full of shit. He's an anti-vaxxer. Make your fucking mind up on what you want to believe in. Because honestly, when you see rates blow up like that, I tell you what, if you've seen cancer clusters blow up like that, you'd start asking fucking questions.
Yeah, we're still. I mean, we're the childhood obesity. That's a fact. Like we did not grow up. I mean, every group like had the fat kid, but his parents were fat. It's like the family was fat. Like, all right, so he's got the fat genes. But now it's the food 100%. It's the food. It's the sugar that we're eating.
Well, then if the experts are quitting under his leadership, then freaking I'm sure there's other experts that can fill their spots.
It's the one thing that he has done on the autism side of it. He has the proof that some of these studies that the government has done, they basically went in there and like, hey, we need you to prove that autism is not caused by this, or it's caused by this. And he just has awarded some grants to, I want to say like 5 or 6 I don't know, group scientists, centers, whatever, from around the world to do like a 5-year study. And it was, here's the money that you asked for. Just there's nothing, we don't want any, just give us the results that you find. There's nothing, we're not paying you to say it's not caused by this. We're not paying you to say it's caused by this. You need to take this information, and you have 5. Well, so I think some of them are 2 years, but then some of them are 5 years. You need to just do this. So I do commend, whether it was him, the organization, I don't know who made that decision. He made the announcement on it. And just let us know what you found. So if all 5, however many it was, come back saying the same thing, so be it. And it's not, like I said, it's from around the world, these studies. So I'm super excited, to maybe we'll finally have, hopefully a consensus, that it's caused by this or it's not caused by this. I don't know.
If you get some objective data from different parts of the world with different prevalence rates, I think that, that you hope to be able to find at least a root cause, like you said, or at least things. You hit something, you hit a nail on the head earlier about, childhood obesity. First of all, we didn't have childhood obesity when we were growing up because, we didn't have video games. They kicked you out. You got kicked. You couldn't sit in the house. I mean, the only time really I remember as a kid, maybe sometimes when we would play Dungeons and Dragons when I was going through my nerdy stage, or my geeky stage, but it was Saturday morning cartoons. You sat down, boom, you watched it. And then once it was done, you were out the door. You were freaking playing all day, and you ran around. You burned fucking calories, man.
Because it was mom's cleaning day. Get out.
Right. Get out of the house. Don't come back. Out. If you're gonna come, knock on the door. I will bring you food outside because I don't want you in here. Or it was like, hey, dad's freaking coming off of fucking 11 to 7 shift. He's going to be sleeping all day. I realize even if I fart, he's going to hear it. And then I'm going to get my ass whooped because I woke him up. I'm going to get out of the house. I'm going to stay out of the house. I'm going to stay out of trouble. I'd rather get in trouble with the neighbors. I'd rather have a dog attack me. The neighbor's dog attack me than actually freaking deal with my parents back in the day. But you're running around, and you don't have that now. Everything is just so much easier for a kid to wake up, grab a bunch of shitty food, sit in front of their freaking computer all day and their video games and play all day and not get out. But I also like the fact that, listen, I'm a firm believer of this too. One of the most freaking horrific things that is leading to a number of diseases that is horrible for you and that freaking is deadly is sugar. Sugar. And it's readily available. And if there's any way that you can, I don't believe in freaking the bullshit big gulp guy from New York. Remember that, where they freaking limited the ounces of freaking soda you could buy. But you know what? I think that there is a way to get some of this sugar and some of these dyes and some of these things that are in the foods out. in order to promote some healthy foods. The preservatives that we have are ridiculous. I mean, Kevin, you see it every time you guys order your freaking snack club, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you see what's in those foods, what is not in those foods, and they all kind of have a common theme. There's not a lot of flavor. There's some, but it's not as jacked up as our flavors are that you can have here. Wyatt went back over to the UK, that's where his mom is, and it's like, pack his bag full of XYZ because you can't get that shit over there.
Yeah, that's it. You know, I find it hilarious. But I'll come back to this one in a second. The tallow oil. But you had made a comment earlier, like your dad worked the late shift. I remember once when Amber was really young, maybe I don't know, 8, 9, 10 years old. One of the times that I had 2 jobs, and I always work. If I had to work 3 jobs to support my family, I did. My family always wanted for nothing, whatever it was. So if I had to work 2 jobs, it is. And I was doing security part-time once. And I remember it was on a weekend, and Amber had her friend Danielle over, and they were listening to music, and Amber was getting loud. And I remember Danielle saying, "Hey, asshole, quiet down," to Amber. "Your dad just worked all night," And I'm like, oh, I love it. I love this. Now she's an amazing young woman. But so it was good kid,
That's
Danielle,
great.
if you're still out there. But remember when McDonald's had to switch oils because it was bad for us. Now there are groups out there asking all of these companies to please go back to tallow and all of the oils that they used to use because it was so much better for you. And I'm like, here we go. It's the eggs thing again. Eggs are good for you. Eggs are bad for you. Oil, New York was the first. We're mandating you got to get ready. You got to go back. You got to start using these seed oils. They're so much healthier for you. And now it's like seed oils are killing us. We need to go back to natural. We need to go back to tallow. And it's just like, here we go.
Just go back and get olive oil, man. Just olive oil, period. That's so good for you. Olive oil's got so many great benefits. There's a lot of folks who, especially if you have like low HDL, your cholesterol, take a shot of freaking olive oil a day.
Yeah, that's it. But I love that Ray that owns our barbecue place, he renders down his own fat for his fryers and uses the tallow oil. And oh man, everything is so good when it comes out of that oil.
Mm-hmm.
And so flavorful and juicy. And but yeah, it's Mathis, follow the money. And that's what it is. A lot of times it's following the money.
Mm-hmm.
Where's it going? So who's being paid to say what? And I don't know. But everybody wants to be proud to have something nowadays. Everybody always says, it's my OCD. It's my OCD. Go fuck yourself with your OCD. Do you know what it's like living with obsessive compulsive disorder? Like where you're, and I'm getting better as I get older, being able to control some of the things, but it's just certain things. It's just, you'll freeze up because you just can't do it, so it's just, you don't
have OCD. You're just forgetful and you're going back and checking again.
Yeah.
That's about it. That's all it is.
For me, it's never the. Did I wash my hands? It's number things. It's just like weird little, and most of it factors on being the germaphobe that I am, But,
no, I mean there are some OCD components, like you said, especially when it comes to counting numbers or a number of things. I mean, it really is. But I just think it's one of those. I think that when someone says, "Oh yeah, it's my ADHD," I think it's just kind of like that common term that's just thrown out there.
Yeah. My ADD,
my ADD. It's just my ADD. Really? Really?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Because I see your other work. I see your other work.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah. Try again. It's
No, but listen, I'm all for asking questions and really, doing what's best for the people and the citizens and also, I firmly believe in, people. It's free choice, man. Let them make their own decisions and their choice on what they want. But you can't knowingly allow certain things to be out there, or withhold information and statistics and data. We should. It doesn't matter who's in office, because I think some folks just get so politically charged that they're blinded by the orange man, or they're blinded by the Democrat, whatever. You lose your objectivity at that point. You should really be looking for answers and results and what's best for for you, your family, and the people. And I don't think any of these questions that are being asked are wrong. I just think when you start asking questions and you try and politicize it on both sides, I don't care who you are, I think that you are just as bad and as guilty as the person that you're criticizing.
Yeah, exactly. And the ingredients is, and GMO grains, steroids for livestock. Not all GMO is bad. It's we have corn that we can eat because of GMO. We have watermelons that are 99% seeds because of GMO. So there are good things that have come out of GMO, but then it's gotten to the extreme. Like we can spray deadly poisons that will kill a human in minutes onto our vegetables, but they're fine. That's taken science a little too far. But yeah, it's like let people do what they want. Let people consume to a point.
Yeah,
we've got like I said, we don't allow people to drink as much as they want and drive. We've nipped that in the bud. You have a limit, or you're going to go to prison. That should be, that there should be a rule on as much as I don't, I'm not a huge sugar fiend, but I do like my sugary sweets. Mm-hmm. But I'm able to limit myself where other people aren't. I think the government needs to come in and step in on the sugar debate. Every other country does it. Australia, almost no sugar allowed. It's gotten to that point. Same with tobacco, the cigars, so it's one of those things like, oh, sugar is bad for you, so they tax cigars too. But, sugar does cause a health crisis.
Yeah, it does.
It affects families, communities, and then then you have your leg cut off because you eat so much sugar and you get diabetes. I don't know if that's really how it happens, but then you have to go on Social Security or Medicaid, and then it costs people, taxpayers, money and the government money to take care of you each month. And maybe that's a short-sighted way of thinking about it, all because you couldn't control the amount of sugar you ate. I could be wrong. I'm sorry. Fact check me. But that's how I feel. But yeah, so there are certain things that, and same with the chemicals, these dyes and everything else that are petroleum based, it's same thing. Like I said, other countries don't allow it, but we do, because we have the freedom to eat what we want, but yeah, maybe these other countries, that have a longer lifespan, they have, their citizens are healthier. They don't have the obesity problem that we have. Yeah, so maybe they figured it out. Maybe limiting the amount of shit we're putting in our food is a good thing. It's not all government is bad. So you hear some of those people, oh, the government's bad. They just can't be telling us. Yeah, they build our roads, they build our schools. They get they do a lot of good too. But when it comes to something that you don't want, or that now government's bad.
Yeah. No, you bring up a good point there, and I think it's sugars are I mean, it's proven just how bad it is for you. I think that you need to have a little bit of you have to also monitor your home too, and I think there's a lot of that's going on that is just not you're not gonna be able to politically monitor or even legally monitor parenting and what they let their kids have or not have. But you definitely need to watch how much sugar intake there is. Listen, if your kids are sitting there eating, drinking sugary sodas and drinking sugary drinks and eating sugary foods all day long and doing nothing, and then be like, oh, my baby's got diabetes. Look, he just has it's his metabolism. No, it's not. Most times it's not. Most times it's not.
Yeah, we have, we have plenty of drinks and for the kids in the house. We have sodas, we have juices. Everything is zero sugar. Zero sugar.
Mm-hmm.
It's Gatorade, zero sugar, Sprite, zero. And anything that the kids drink and consume more than everything else, zero sugar in it. But yeah, so you can't limit. So Australia doesn't limit the amount of sugar that any one person can consume. They just tax the shit out of it. The taxes are through the roof. So you want to make something with sugar, it's going to cost 10 times as much. So the average person can't afford, to buy super sugary sweets because they're just so expensive. So yeah, you can, let them, if the parents want to spend that much money, or if you want to spend that much money to have sugar, have at it. You can have as much as you want. But, like I said, they're just going to tax the shit out of it. So that's one way around it, is just taxation.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's already, people are like, taxation is theft. So I don't know.
Well, yeah, I also believe that, I think, taxing is just a freaking stupid, in my opinion, stupid and lazy way of just that's the mailing it in saying that you care because you're going to tax it. You know what? They're still going to buy it. Look at cigarettes.
Yeah.
People are states are like, I'm going to tax it because this is going to lower the smokers. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. If you $10, what's his face? One comedian, Dennis Leary said, you can charge $20 a pack, freaking paint the wrapper black and call them tumors, and people are still going to buy them. And Mike, I have to look that up, but I think the whole thing, COVID vaccines are no longer covered for insurance for kids. I don't think that's 100% accurate.
I don't know. I heard something along that line the other day, but I'm not 100%. I didn't delve into it. And Brian,
I just searched it real quick, and because I heard about it too, and it was you get a lot of these, don't mean to interrupt you, Kevin, there, but no. You get the NBC news that says for some, fall COVID shots may come with a copay or not covered. So there's a lot of mays could come with. There's a lot of, when you really dig a little bit deeper, there is some information where you may have some federally funded programs that may be impacted by it, but doctors can still prescribe it and get it covered. I just think there's, just because somebody says something or says that this is the way it should be, doesn't mean it's going to be that way. And for crying out loud, scroll beyond the very first couple of headlines that you see and dig a little bit deeper. Because I think when it comes to what's being covered under insurances, that's up to that individual insurance company. I know that they're going to take probably a lot of their leads they do from the CDC and the FDA and so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, if the insurance company, you can have that same argument over different medications across the board and have an argument about it. But I haven't seen anything that really kind of leads me to believe that there's going to be this widespread, multiple insurance company banning of COVID-19 vaccinations for the kids. Maybe I'm wrong. I haven't seen anything that is indicating that at all.
Yeah, I agree. I'll have to look into that a little bit more. And Brian said, I don't want to live in a nanny state, and neither do I. Sugar's killing us. Sugar's killing us. It's the obesity, the linked to cancer. It's linked to autism. If you look at certain studies, sugar is killing us as a society. And I also know that once the government gets in and bans like one thing, once you open the door, that sucks because you can't close that door again ever. They say, oh, look at us, we banned sugar and childhood obesity went down 80% and, whatever mortality rates are this and that. And then it's like, well, this also is hurting people. So we're going to get rid of this, and then we're going to get rid of this. And
it's a tough spot, man.
It's really tough. And I don't know what the answer is. I don't know, but I think 100% of everybody can agree sugar's bad. It's gotten to the point to where it's just in everything, and it's too readily accessible. And it's not something like, we did not consume sugar as kids, not at the rate of Like in my house, if you come into my house, you can open up anything, whatever sugary treat that you can imagine you can have, and unlimited, amounts of it. So, and I think we're just the typical household. Luckily, our kids aren't fat.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm like Brian, too. I don't want to live in a nanny state. I don't.
Yeah.
But it's because, but it is tough when you see some of these, like, where do you draw that line, right? This is why we're not in politics. And this is the reason why I never profess to be a political freaking pundit or, professional. I have my opinions, and I base a lot of my opinions off of objective observation and facts. It doesn't freaking land on one side of the fence or the other. I do have my belief in some things, but I also believe that there are a lot of my beliefs that I don't think should be imposed onto other people as well.
Yeah.
I'm smart enough. I'm smart enough to say I believe X, Y, Z, but I don't think this should be a mandated law that everyone should follow. And I also accept that. I expect that in return, when it comes to certain things. But when you do see things like like sugar that is just so bad and causes so many problems, you're like, okay, where do you draw that line between a nanny state regulation, and making sure that there is something healthy out there? Because at some point, if it just becomes the Wild West, companies love to take shortcuts. They like to use cheaper alternatives, and usually cheaper alternatives, it's, if you go out, you buy fresh chicken, fresh meat, fresh vegetables, fresh this, fresh that. It's going to cost more than if you go over and you buy a freaking frozen freaking metal container of freaking lasagna that's got so many additives and preservatives and freaking sodium and shit, but there has to be kind of like that fine line. It is a fine line.
Yeah, it is, and like I don't want, just because you have something like, I don't like Topo Chico. I think it should be banned. It's garbage. People should be stopped drinking that stuff. It's disgusting. But people want to consume it. So Michelle and Tom, you're wrong. Health nuts drinking that garbage.
Yeah.
But what about corn syrup? Well, I think we talked about this before. I said, depending on which study that's out there, I think the consensus is steering corn syrup's better for you. People say your body metabolizes it different, blah, blah, blah. It does. But I think corn syrup is, from what I've done and what research I have done, I haven't delved into hundreds of studies, but I have delved into dozens of studies. And from what I can see, corn syrup is better for you than sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I think the more natural you get, the less refined that you get, the better off you're going to be. And Mike, I don't have a news source. I don't like go to Fox News or MSNBC and say, gosh, this is what I read. I kind of look at a couple of different articles. I also look in. And I don't want to interrupt you, Kerr, you're in like the medical industry. Like, so
but you do have your finger on the pulse of what's happening. So,
I wouldn't say that. I mean, I've been in the medical industry long enough to kind of, sort through and look at the information and the data and to draw an objective, conclusion on something like this, because, I'm not going to be one to say, hell no, this is wrong. Listen, if insurance companies are fucked up, they just are, and some insurance companies will freaking make a decision to not cover something for whatever reasons why, and they'll freaking rely, especially if it saves them money. So please don't ever think that insurance companies are freaking following some sort of ridiculous mandate because they believe in it. If they're like, hey, I could do this and save a lot of money, they're going to do it. That's what they do. It's the reason why they freaking prefer generic drugs over freaking branded drugs. It's cheaper for them, but I don't rely on one news source. I look around, I kind of sort through a couple of different articles. I even go into ChatGPT and I say, listen, I want objective data on this. I don't want freaking what I think, what I believe. This may happen, that may occur. I would like to know exactly what's going on in the overall community, but then also you have to look at state to state, because you don't want to also say, well, this is the way it is because you hyper focused on Massachusetts or Kansas because that's what they're doing in that particular states. Because, at the end of the day, one of the biggest issues that you have in America is states' rights. And that is also one of those beliefs where depends on where you stand on certain subjects. It's like this needs to be a state right. Well, what about this? Oh, no. That can't be a state right. That needs to be a federal mandate. So you can't pick and choose either. Especially with states' rights, there's a lot that needs to go back to the states because that's what we kind of built our nation on. And realistically, the federal government there is just to protect us and make sure that we're freaking protected from foreign invaders.
Yeah, that's it. And talking about ChatGPT, I always ask it to cite its sources. And so
Yeah.
I always ask for links so I can make sure that, it's not summarizing something different than what, because I can read something. I'm like, well, I mean, you summarized it this way, but man, I read that article and I kind of don't think that, I don't agree with your summarization of it.
Right.
I look at it this way and like you cite it as like a good thing. I'm like, yeah, I took the negative out of that, so yeah. So, it's,
I challenge ChatGPT. I argue. I tell you, I argue with my ChatGPT. You're nice because I know you believe that there's going to be an uprising and there is going to be an uprising of the machines. But, I'll be that guy who gets killed first by the Terminator because I argue and I yell at my ChatGPT. I'm like, you're not consistent when they're not consistent. Or, hey, look, you said, cite where you're getting this information from because this seems like it's a little slanted in a liberal way. It looks like it's slanted a little bit in a conservative way. I don't want a slanted viewpoint. I want an objective viewpoint. And then you cite your sources. And then once I look at those sources, I'll be able to say, okay, you pulled from a number of sources and it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, immunizations are at the national level because they have to be effective. Some are at the national level, some are at the states level. Florida, we're going through a thing right now to where some of the immunizations that really don't have to to get into certain levels of school, you have to show your immunizations, and some of them are like bullshit ones. I can't name them all offhand. They want to get rid of the mandate for some. It's like, hey, you really don't need these, at certain levels. So, and that's the big one in the news right now. Hep B, should we be giving it to babies? My daughter was on the fence that I think they're not going to give it. I think that's the one that they're not going to do. I know if a baby gets Hep B, it's bad, like really bad. And you have lifelong consequences of that. But, everything's a gamble. It's like, is your baby going to be around somebody that has hepatitis B? It's like, so my daughter's pretty protective about who the baby's around. So I think they're going to skip that one. And then they're going to space out the rest of them to be, so you're not just jabbing them with, what is it, 67 or whatever it is, in the first couple of months of their life.
Yeah, it's a lot, but you know what? You were saying being in the medical community, Jennifer has been in the medical field, her whole career as well, and we are advocates of medicine. I mean, in the cutting edge, I think there's just so much great things out there that are on the cutting edge, and what's being researched and looked into for to cure childhood diseases. Some of the most Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, congestive heart failure, just so much out there. The different cancers, the different studies, the tremendous amount of it's no longer just radiation and chemotherapy anymore. There's just so much out there that's so pinpoint specific to the freaking cancer that you have, to the genomic testing, whether you have mutations or not. So much out there that's just so incredibly awesome, and it's on a cutting edge that you should be excited about it. And these are things that should, when they're proven to be effective, will go to market, should go to market. And there's always going to be a side effect. There's always going to be a risk. I shake my fist sometimes at the ambulance chasers that are so quick to want to, chase down these different drug makers because there's a side effect to medications. There's side effects to freaking health, the natural stuff. If you take it, there's some medicinal effects to healthy stuff. There's always going to be side effects as well. So there's a lot of stuff to be excited about. So I'm not anti-vax. I'm not anti-medicine. I'm the opposite of those folks. But I also think that we need to be, smart about what we're doing and ask questions. And I think if you're not doing that, you're not doing yourself any justice. You're not doing your family justice. And if you're someone in power, or has some influence, then you're not doing the citizens, justice. You just aren't,
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be a politicized role. And unfortunately, everyone wants to shake their
Yes.
fist and shake their fingers at a certain administration because they think everything's politicized. Oh, seriously, dude, seriously, you can't sit there with a straight face and tell me that every single politician with their faces in the news, every single person who's got a political agenda, everyone who wants to push this agenda, that agenda, everyone has a political agenda. They do. So stop acting like it's one side and not the other. Wake up,
Yeah.
quit being sheep, and start freaking thinking for yourself and thinking about your community and thinking about your people who are around you and the people that you love, your friends, your family, your neighbors. Start thinking in that fashion, act locally, because you're too caught up in all the other nonsense, man.
You talk about the ambulance chasers. Now you're starting to see it on all the GLP-1 medications, it's like now that 30% of the American population is on they came out thinking, we've been using these for 25 years. There really are no side effects. Yeah. Cause we didn't know, 0.5% of the population was using it. Now that 30% of the population is on some kind of, weight loss jab, now all of this other stuff is creeping up and like, yeah, what you think was going to happen? It's like this, these medications that was a side effect of, of getting that into, originally it was a diabetes medicine. Am I correct?
Yeah. I remember when I was actually, years ago, I worked for a company and we were selling a weight loss drug. It was a non-stimulant weight loss drug. And it actually made you feel satiated is what it did. It worked on your receptor sites in your brain and made you feel satiated. And back then was when these diabetes drugs are like, it was like Viagra. Viagra was a blood pressure medication.
It was a blood pressure.
It's like, hey, the side effect is, so you start looking. They start
getting everybody. Hey, we need all these drugs back. This study's over, and they're like, why isn't anybody sending these back?
Yeah,
and then they come to find out, like, oh, hey,
how many drugs are out there that their indication was basically a side effect during the initial clinical trials, and you also got to take a step back and look at long-term use of these medications. It's not properly studied because they have a certain window to study these medications, and then they are approved by the FDA, and then they are released to the public. So you have to meet certain criteria. But there isn't anything to say, hey, what if you're on this drug for freaking 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, or whatever the case may be? Yeah, there's going to be some potential side effects, or there's going to be some long-term effects. I mean, there's a lot of folks who believe that one of the drugs that are used for type 2 diabetes, metformin, which actually increases insulin production out of your pancreas, actually leads to beta cell burnout and actually leads and quickens your pancreas to stop producing insulin. Therefore, you need to be a type 2 diabetic who's on an insulin sensitizer and insulin as well. And there's a lot of folks who believe that it's just that's the byproduct of using that medication. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff we know, and there's a lot of stuff we don't know, but I think that there is a valiant effort by a lot of companies out there that are working really hard to try and find cures and treatments for so many different diseases. And it's amazing what progress and what technology has done in that area. I'm impressed. Jen was in the news. You saw Jen was in the news.
Yeah, Jen was in the news.
Jen was a local news. I mean, they were talking about this scan that they do in order to be able to read the plaque in the brain of Parkinson's patients, where before you had to wait until the person actually passed away to study their brain. It's crazy technology that's out there. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing.
No worries at all, Mike. I need to get into the dentist. I got I need a crown and a filling done. Fucking miserable. I haven't seen Republicans grow a spine for the American people. I can say that honestly. I can say the same thing for Democrats. You know,
when
but
was the last time you seen a politician with a spine, Mike? Come on.
yeah, a politician. Period. You know, you look at the whole debate on whether they should be able to trade stocks. That's one thing that they've both agreed on. Democrats and Republicans want to keep doing it.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it's there's only a couple on each side, you know, that has some partisan support for that. But yeah, for the majority, yeah, neither one of them can grow a fucking spine and say, hey, you know, we're taking this insider information.
Yeah, there's a reason why the old saying is that policy is downstream from society. You know, because politicians will formulate their opinion on things based off of what they see out there, and realistically, they're working for their people, and they should, in many cases. But you also have to have some core beliefs when you enter the political arena. Now, since everything is so immediate, it's no longer downstream; it's across shore. It's right next door to each other, and you see some of these folks, even with all the videos and the ability to freaking say, "Hey, you didn't say that before. You said this or you believe that." The people flip flop and they change their mind. So, you know, I don't think that there is, you know, there's not many politicians with spines in general. And honestly, Mike, it doesn't matter if you and I respect no matter what side of the fence you're on. If you have a belief, you stick to it, and you have a rational reason why you feel that way. Even if I 100% disagree with you, if you have a spine, you are rooted in some sort of belief system, and you are educating yourself not only what you believe, but you're also educating yourself on what the opposite side believes. You bring a lot of credibility to the table, even if I disagree with you.
Yeah,
and I think it lacks that so much. It was Alzheimer's drug. I'm sorry, not Parkinson's. Jennifer Creighton is Alzheimer's. I'm sorry, Jennifer. I was so enamored with how beautiful you looked on TV. I didn't hear a word that you said when I was watching you do your interview. It was just it's Alzheimer's. It's a gray area in Alzheimer's. So I apologize, Jennifer.
I was just talking to Jessica. We were watching someone had crashed through a local business. You know, it happens here in Florida a lot. Old people hit the gas instead of the brake, and they're interviewing someone, you know, on TV. And that, you know, I'm like, I never get interviewed for anything because I'm like, Lord Jesus, it was a fire, you know? So it's like they're never going to interview me. Like, that's the first thing I'm going to say, even if there wasn't a fire. Lord Jesus, there was a fire. You know, so, oh my God.
That's great. But
so
you know,
even Republicans love Bernie. We love Bernie more now than we ever have because he's agreeing with some of the shit we're saying.
you know what? I've always respected Bernie because Bernie was Bernie, right? It was like, listen,
never wavered.
Never wavered. However, you start digging a little bit deeper into Bernie, you're like, yeah, Bernie's not, you know, he's well-to-do. You know, he's taking money from pharma companies. It's true. Like, so you start digging a little bit deeper. Even the guy like Bernie, who I'm like, maybe 90% of Bernie is genuinely Bernie. There's still that 10% that's like, you're still a little dirty. You know,
it was I do. I mean, I like Bernie. I like a lot of the stuff that he's come out with in the last couple of years. He's making more sense than ever. I am agreeing on him a lot, but I also do love when he got busted because he wanted the $15 an hour national minimum wage, and on his first or second campaign, he was only paying his people like $9 an hour or something. He wasn't even paying them the minimum wage that he wanted in the country. He had to come out. He had to come out and apologize. I did think that was funny, but yeah,
you don't like see the politicians get caught with their pants down like that. I mean, because it lets you know that they're people. They're people. They are going to be subject to freaking temptations. They're not all that they seem that they are. So stop supporting someone you don't know, and because you see families do it all the time. They get fragmented because they are literally standing up for someone they don't know, and they're alienating friends and family that they've known their whole lives. And it's like you're stupid. You're choosing the wrong side at that point. Learn how to have a disagreement or don't have the conversation. Love your family. Be with your family. Our time on this earth is very limited. We don't know what tomorrow brings. We don't know if we're going to wake up tomorrow. So realistically, enjoy your time with your family. And if you haven't talked to somebody because of their political beliefs, freaking get off your freaking high horse in your freaking little soapbox. Pick up the phone and call them. Quit being an asshole. And if they're being an asshole, then be less of an asshole than they are. Because at some point, someone's got to stop being an asshole. At least make an effort. It's so funny. Like you said, when you see something with Bernie, you're like, "Oh, Bernie got a couple houses, huh? Yeah, that socialism. It's all right, Bernie. I hear you." Years ago, the guy who I loved, I thought was really, really good. I was a big fan of Joe Lieberman. Big fan of Joe Lieberman.
Yeah.
He was a very practical Democrat. There are very practical Republicans. There are very practical politicians out there who really, God bless you, have a good sense of what's going on and have a good balance between, what the government should and should not be doing and what the people should be doing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
100% agree. I think that's a good way to end another great show.
We've been too political. Our last couple shows have been way political. Mike, you got to stop talking about these damn politics. Start asking freaking football questions or asking us about cigars or movies. You know what? I did want to leave you with this. Kevin, I know that you're a big Stephen King fan.
Yeah.
Okay. I know you're a big Stephen King fan. There is a miniseries that is on Netflix that we just finished up. The guy who wrote this and directed this has worked on other Stephen King movies, right? On TV stuff. And he actually has a one right now that's based off of a novella called The Life of Chuck that we're going to watch, right? He directed that. Yeah. It's a novella from Stephen King, right?
Yeah.
But this miniseries that's on Netflix is called Midnight Mass. And you can tell that this movie is heavily influenced by Stephen King. It's fantastic.
Okay.
You got to watch it. You're a Stephen King fan.
It's a miniseries or a TV show?
It's a TV miniseries. So there's 8 episodes, right? And it's only 8 and done. It's 7 episodes. And again, the guy who wrote this, you can definitely tell, is heavily influenced by Stephen King. He's worked on a number of Stephen King movies, and the cast have worked with this guy on several different movies and other Stephen King movies. It's fantastic. It really has a lot of twists and turns in it. But God Almighty, just fantastic movie in general. I think a fantastic miniseries. I think you'll love it. I think it's got a lot of Stephen King in it without it being Stephen King.
All right, well, check it out. We just finished up Wednesday, so we're looking for something else.
No, it's Monday.
So what's that?
It's Monday.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We'll see everybody back next Monday night for another Puff and Ponder podcast. You can find Kerr and I on all the social media links down below, along with all the supporters of the show, Fogbox, and whatnot down in the description as well, podcast description.
Beard Balm.
That's it, Beard Balm. And we'll see everybody next week.
See you.